Flying machines. They're one of Minecraft's most sophisticated yet magnificent redstone contraptions you can build. From automatic sugarcane farms to 1,000 block long quarries, thanks Almango, your imagination is your only limit. Yet with all this incredible potential, only a small percentage of Minecraft players use them, because they assume they're too complicated to learn and they don't want to copy some YouTube tutorial. This is why I made this video. I used to be like you. By the end, you'll understand the basic concepts of flying machines, even if you're a dummy. Now, in order to understand flying machines, we have to understand 6 basic redstone concepts. I'll speak to you in a nice, calming voice, so that way you don't get overwhelmed. Look at the pretty parrots! Don't look at them. Alright, so first we got the observer. What does it do? It detects a block update, and then it outputs a redstone signal out its butt, right there. You see its face? It looks for an update, such as opening a fence gate. See how it detects it and outputs a signal to this very annoying bell. And you could just spam click this all day and make the bell go nuts, because it's detecting every time this opens. It'll also output a signal anytime you break a block, anytime you place a block, anytime anything is updated, anytime like a piece of grass grows, wheat, you name it, it'll output a signal. There you go, concept 1. Concept 2, pretty easy, the sticky piston. It sticks to blocks. They go up, they go down. Concept 2. Concept 3 is a bit more wacky. We introduced the slime block. They stick to each other like so. And you can stick up to 12 of these together. One piston can push up to 12 blocks. Remember that. We count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There's 12. And it sticks to the plank right there. You see that? How wacky is that? Imagine all the wacky contraptions you could build with that concept. Good. Now we're on to concept number 4. The obsidian. Let's push it. Or let's not push it, because you can't push it. That's concept number 4. Easy. Concept number 5. Let's use all the things we've learned. What is going to happen here? The slime is touching itself, so how is the piston going to push up and push itself at the same time? Also, what about this piston? The answer's simple. It won't push itself if it's pushing, because that would be impossible. So in order for Minecraft to get around that, it just ignores the fact that they were touching. But since this piston's not doing anything, it will still stick just fine. That's concept number 5, our most advanced concept yet. And to number 6. We already know how observers work and sticky pistons. Let's put them together. Anytime the observer moves, it will output a redstone signal, because technically there's a block update because it's checking a different block. As you can tell by these redstone lamps, it'll output a pulse anytime you move it with a sticky piston. So in your flying machine, anytime your flying machine moves, your boys are going to be outputting a pulse. This is important. This keeps the machine moving. So, time to put our concepts together for our first bigger concept. Look at this thing. What's going to happen? We got our observer facing a fence gate. We already know it's going to output a signal back here. But it will power adjacent pistons, because that's just how Minecraft Redstone works. It's weird, I know. So anytime I flick this, the piston will fire. Interesting. So, what if we add a slime block to the end? So you know how this piston's gonna fire. It's gonna go out, grab this slime block, and this slime block is attached to this fence gate, right? So it's gonna want to pull this slime block back with the fence gate, but it can't pull the fence gate because there's an observer there. But it can't pull the observer because there's a plank there. But remember, pistons can pull and push up to 12 blocks. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So if I open this fence gate, it's going to be able to push in all these blocks no problem. But now it's stuck. It's not flying. So all we have to do is figure out a way to get this piston to reset itself so we can activate it again. If only there was... Oh! Alright, don't get overwhelmed. I know it's scary. Just look, it's the same thing, except for ignore these top parts. So now we have another slide block, a piston and a observer, right? So these are all stuck together. So when we activate this, this is gonna suck all of this, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 blocks, completely legal move. It'll suck it back. Now remember, what happens to observers when they're moving? That's right, they output a signal at the back. You could probably see where this is going. This is gonna power this piston, and remember, this is all gonna be one block to the left. It's gonna push this slime block over, and that's gonna bring the piston with it. And that's what resets it. So when we combine this all together, we have a machine that can fully reset itself. So if we right click, boom, everything moves over a block. Shut the fence gate, another one, another one,
another one.
And now if we want to make it fully automatic, all we have to do is add one more observer and one more block here. So that way, when it fully resets itself and it pushes this piston back, this piston is now going to be attached to this slide block, so it's going to carry these two with it. And as we know, as the observer gets pushed over a block, it's going to get a block update. It's going to power this block, which is going to power this piston. It completes the cycle. Yes, this whole thing is a complete cycle, and we will play it in slow motion, and I will narrate over it so we can fully see what's going on. Now watch closely as this thing works. You can see the top right piston will push and then the bottom left piston will pull. And it's really just this cycle repeating itself. It's a cluster of 4 blocks pulling and a cluster of 7 blocks pushing. And using the observers to keep those pistons getting powered when they need to be powered. It's really just a sequence of events. Feel free to slow down this video if you need to. Now, I used an obsidian block here to stop this machine, but if you look at the machine now, it's just a big pile of blocks. How are you supposed to make this machine go again? Are you supposed to flick this? It does nothing. Think about where it's at. The next step is for this piston to push these 4 blocks over one. So if you grab yourself a redstone torch, just power this piston, which you could just put like a torch on an adjacent block. And there you go. The machine resets itself because it pushed the slime. The slime sticks to these 2 blocks. This one gets pushed because it's touching this block, and it's 4 block limit. Wow, you guys are so smart. Look at us go. And with that, you guys get a round of applause. You haven't built your first flying machine yet, but you've conceptualized it. And that's what matters. So definitely give this a practice round or 2, and I promise if you can understand how this works, you won't need a tutorial anymore. So, let's go into a flying machine that's a bit more useful. And here we have it, the 2-way flying machine. Do not get overwhelmed. Hear me? Do not get overwhelmed. It's okay. What's gonna happen when I do this fence gate? This observer is gonna power this piston, and it's gonna move this slime block forward. And the slide block's attached to this slide block, and this observer, and this sticky piston. So these 4 are going to push forward. But what about that slime block? Remember our concept over here where it won't move the piston if it's being powered. So using that concept, this will not move, meaning this whole thing will shift over one. And remember how this observer, when it moves, it makes a signal and its output? Guess what? It's gonna push this piston, which is gonna pull back over to here and suck the whole machine back. Once again, we'll play this in slow motion so it makes sense. There's not too much to say about this one. It gives it the block update, the piston will push 4 blocks, and then the other piston will pull 4 blocks. And the cycle just keeps repeating until it runs into the fence gate that's blocked by the obsidian. And you can send it back in the other direction by just giving it another block update, and it will head back to our other side. Wow! This is a pretty simple concept, and I'm proud of you guys. We made it through this together. Now, let's see what else we can do to this machine. And now I know what you guys are saying. But CWG, what if I wanted to go on that side and I wanted to come back? Well, that's a good point there, fella. So if we wanted to go back, we would have to automatically have this set a block update back to this base, and it'll send it back. But we have to do it automatically. So how could we build a system to know that the flying machine's over here? Oh yeah, observers. They detect any block update. So if the observer gets over here, it'll get a block update and power this block. This is where the repeater comes in. Now, this is important. The repeater has to be on max tick delay. The reason's a bit more complicated, but basically when this comes over here, it's going to give it an update, right? But then when I get it to move this and it moves back away, it's going to give it another update. So it's going to give it two like quick pulses, like pop, pop. It's going to be like skill that, skill that. In fact, you want to see those pulses for your own self eyes. I know you want to see those pulses. So now if we send it over and it has no delay, did you see that? It went like blah blah. I'll do a little quick replay. But this redstone torch doesn't even turn off, even though it's supposed to. That's because these things give a bunch of nerd stuff. I could explain in the comments if you guys really want to know why this happens. Just put it on max delay. This is for dummies. Listen, we don't have to worry about why. We just have to worry that it works. So this is going to cause the fence gate to open like so. So now that's on max delay. Let's send it over. It's going to fire that torch, flick the gate, and it heads back over. Very simple. So I know what you're thinking to yourself. I have a 2A fly machine, that's cool. I have big brain now, I can tell my friends how it works. But what am I supposed to do with it? Well, let's get an even bigger brain here. So you notice how it's moving 4 blocks at a time, and we know the limit is 12 for the push limit. So you might be saying, CWG, what's stopping you from placing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 slide blocks to the end of this, and 8 blocks to the end of this, because that's also 4. Is that 8? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, one more. Boop. What's stopping you? The answer is nothing. Yeah, you could build all kinds of wacky flying machines. You can truly see what is possible with this stuff. Like, you could put these slide blocks over here to make some kind of weird, like, spaceship looking thing, and then you could send it over and nothing's stopping you. So you can imagine if sugarcane was growing here, these would push off the sugarcane, you could collect it, you know. Now, since you made it this far in the video, I'll give you some bonus concepts. Let's fly over here. So you may be looking at this and say, what the heck is going on? That's a honey block. Yes, they act just like slide blocks, with one difference. They slide past each other. So if I fire this, it slides right past, but still moves that block. Slides right past and moves that block. Also, leaves do not stick. So they could be used to place full blocks that can slide right past these. And if we go over here, the other thing that makes the honey block special is you can stick to them on the flying machine. Yep, it just moves you around. So, I know what you're thinking. Can you ride a flying machine? The answer is, of course, yes. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you are a bit less intimidated about flying machines and maybe even build them in your own world. They're really useful. So thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe because I do all kinds of other cool videos, not just weird for dummy tutorials, believe it or not. So join the squad. CWG out.